Good evening. I've never been in this room, so it's quite large, and you guys are sitting in the back row. That's awesome. I'd like to, first of all, just introduce myself. For those who don't know me, I know a lot of faces and a lot of kids here, and it's exciting to be back. I can't believe it's this time of year already. My name is Dribnak. I'm an certified athletic trainer. I work for St. Luke's Sports Medicine, and I've been doing this for about 13 years now. And I did my education at Boise State. I've worked as the head athletic trainer for the Idaho Steelheads. I'm currently working with U.S. Soccer, and I've worked with many of the high schools in the Valley and a lot of the community and youth organizations. So it's a great honor for me to be here, and I've been with Kuna. This is my 5th year being with the high school, so I really appreciate being here. And as Ron mentioned previously, there has been changes in the concussion legislation, and there's new legislation in place due to injuries and compelling stories and many deaths and injuries around the country. And so that is what has spurred Idaho to take this on and to make it law that the management of concussions and how we treat them. And last year we had about 12 concussions here, and so I've seen a few of them out here in the crowd, and I just know the experiences going through it. It can be a pretty frustrating experience for parents, for kids. Concussions affect everyone, and everyone's subject to concussion that plays sport. Nobody's immune to that. Kids are bigger, faster, and stronger, and we know a lot more than we knew before, and that's why a lot of this has come to light. And there is a lot of research involved into what they've brought on in this legislation and the findings. Again, the NFL has pushed this. It was through Matt Kaiserman locally that they were able to work with this legislation. And Matt Kaiserman, through him, they put this legislation into place. So we're pretty excited to have it. Again, Ron said it doesn't change much from what we've done, and that's it just makes a little more people along the way accountable across the board, and we're here to define that for you. So as you walked in, you got a handout that talks about the concussion protocol for the Kuna School District. And the recent developments motivated Kuna High School and the school district to create a concussion policy to comply with the new legislation and the law to protect the athletes and staff in the management of these concussions. So Kuna High School and Kuna School District has created a policy that will comply with the law so that they're in compliance with the law, but it's not verbatim how it's done. So from 1A to 5A, it's going to be a little bit different according to the resources you have available. We have athletic trainers here. We have physicians locally. So we are one of the groups that have all the resources available to put together a good program. So what's the main differences that we have is if a coach or an athletic trainer, which you'll have at your kids' games, not always at practice, but during competition and during practice, if an individual is suspected of a concussion, it is up to those individuals the coaches, referees, everyone is being educated on this, and they remove the kids from play. So that is the first step, is removal from play. And once removed, then the evaluation takes place, and the evaluation has many different things, many tools that we have to evaluate concussions. One being impact testing, which is a computerized test, which is going to be new to Kuna this year. And then also there's neurological, sensory motor, sideline testing that the healthcare professional, which is our athletic trainers and physicians, will be able to use to evaluate your child. So once someone sustains a concussion, they're evaluated, and then, so say Jimmy has a concussion the night, Friday night football, first game of the season. Jimmy gets concussed, we pull him out. We have a physician that's there. We evaluate him, we look at him, diagnose him with a concussion. That night, parents will be given a handout and an educational sheet to break down and to have them watch their son or daughter and can take it home and to know what to do that night. So if it's bad enough to where we need to refer them to a hospital, they go to the hospital. If it's go home and watch them for the night, and many parents have done this, they've been up late nights, and I've been there with them. I've gotten calls at 2 in the morning with parents asking questions, and that's exactly how it should work. And so once evaluated, then we look at them, we reevaluate them to see, so you're sent home with guidelines to be able to watch your children to know what to do. And then after that, they're reevaluated by healthcare professionals, either myself or Michelle Graves, another athletic trainer that will be with us this year, or a physician. And then once that clearance comes to return to play, that they're okay to return, then they come back to us, as Ron said, and then we will take them through a progression to see if they're ready. One thing that we want to stress is taking them to proper healthcare professionals. Physicians, PAs, family nurse practitioners are on the list in the legislative law as healthcare professionals with advanced management of concussion training, and that's where athletic trainers fall under also. So just because they have the note does not mean that they're ready to return to play. Because what the physicians in the offices don't have the opportunity to do is to do exertional testing and testing with your kids before returning them back to play. Because if you return them too early, they can sustain second impact syndrome, which then causes a lot of damage and can lead to further damage or death. And that's how important this really is. And so we make sure that they're ready to go back. And so we would put them through an exertional or a program to where they have to work out with us, and we have to know that they're ready to go back without symptoms coming back, because they have to be symptom free to be able to return to play. And so that's our job, is to do that. So oftentimes, I know last year there was times when I didn't even know a kid had a concussion because they suffered one on the road or an away game, and I didn't even know that they were concussed, and they showed up to me with a clearance to return to play 3 or 4 days later. Well, in our progression and what our concussion management plan states is that they need to be symptom-free and then do exertional testing to be able to be cleared to return to play. And so that's where communication amongst the staff, amongst coaches, they know what to look for now. They're being educated. They're having to go through protocols and to be educated in this field and to know what to look for. And also athletic trainers, referees, anyone involved are now being educated in this. And that's, again, that's a commitment to how important this really is. And so once return to play guidelines are going to be up to the athletic trainer, myself, and it's a team decision. It's doctors, it's parents, it's athletes. Those are individuals involved in this plan of care to be able to return your kids to play safely. I just want you to know that often it's tough. It's tough to pull kids out. I know kids want to play. I know last year we had an athlete suffer a concussion. I had to pull him out of the district championship, the senior year, and there's a lot of stories, compelling stories, but my job, number one, is to keep kids safe, and no matter what the circumstance. And that's what we do, and I take my job very seriously. I become very fond of your children as we go throughout and get to know them, and I just know that it's important to keep the kids safe no matter what the situation is. That's why we're here. That's my job. That's my role as an athletic trainer, and some of those decisions are tough, but we need to make those for the safety of the kids. One football game is not important as later on in life, and be able to remember and do the things that you need to do and function as an individual. So I just want you to know that I'm excited to be here with your kids, with working with the staff. We have great coaches, great administration that really care, and this plan is available to you, all of you, and then it'll be available online. The one thing that we need to stress is in this is a release for your kids to play, understanding, so you understand about concussions, signs and symptoms, and return to play guidelines. And so each parent is going to have to acknowledge, read, and sign this, and they're going to have to send it with their child to be able to play, and so they understand that. And that is a district policy that is complying with the state policy. So this is what's new, and again, I just want you to know that I enjoy working with your kids, and not only in the concussion side of things, but also just in general. We're a huge resource as far as your children, and I do work, and it's not a plug, believe me, I work for St. Luke's Sports Medicine, and if we have plenty of resources for your children, and as far as being able to get kids into physicians, oftentimes if you try to call a physician or a physician's office, and if you have one, that's great. I'm not going to try to steer you any way, but we can also expedite physician visits and be able to give you preferential treatment to high schools, and we do it for all the high school kids. It's not just Kuna High School. So I just want you to know that that's available to you. And along with the concussion, there's a whole concussion protocol that Matt Kaiserman has helped develop. And so we're excited to roll it out. We're excited to be able to help and to be a resource to you and to your kids. So if there's any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. And the communication's key as far as injuries and return to play, no matter what the injury, for your children. So I just want you to know that we have the best interest in mind for them, and I appreciate being here, and I appreciate all your support. Again, I know many of you through experiences, and in fact, one of those experiences is going to be shared with you, one of those stories. Michaela Packwood suffered a concussion last year, and through her efforts, she's going to tell you a little bit about it. You do now have this impact testing, the software, to help testing for concussions and to be able to return to play. And so I would like to invite her up here to share that story with you.
So last year on our first game at Bora, I got a concussion, and the trainers there just sent me home, and a few days later I couldn't sleep and I was really dizzy, so Kip sent me to Dr. Alex Homochevaria, and that's when I first took the impact test. And it tests like reflexes and memory and all that stuff. So I took that like 3 or 4 times, and because of that, I've decided to do this for my senior project and get the impact testing for this school. And because of me getting a concussion, I've chosen a career path, and it's changed a lot of my life, but I don't think that everybody should have to go through a traumatic experience like that to find out what they want to do. So that's why I've decided to get the impact test for the school.